Hello everyone, this is the first episode of Clickster. In this YouTube channel, what we do is we start from basic projects and build up to very high level projects. So since this is our first project, it's gonna be very basic. I'm just gonna teach you all about the basics of Unity and just get used to C#, which is the scripting language for Unity. As you see, there's nothing here or anywhere because it's a brand new project, and the game we're gonna create is Click. So it's obviously a clicking game. So in this YouTube channel, I never told you yet, but in this YouTube channel, we will have 3 stages: the planning, the base mechanics, and then the finishing touches. So I have already went and done the planning. So this is how it's gonna work. We're gonna start. There will be a UI button. If you click it, something happens, and then we come back to start. So we can change the something happens to adding a score by 1. So what we do is, obviously it says UI button. So if you want to create a button, we go to UI section and then go all the way to button. Now it will make a canvas for us, cause any UI must be inside this canvas. So there's the button. So all of these are objects, object, and inside the button we can see a text. So we're just gonna close that one. So in the button, like the button object, we can see these components. So these are components, these are objects. So this is the asset folder. In the asset folder you can have anything you want, but it's not gonna act in the world, because if you want to implement it inside the world, you have to put in the hierarchy. So in the components, in a button we have a canvas renderer, an image, and a button component, and a default UI material. For now we're just gonna have it, but we obviously don't want it to be over here, so we're just gonna change it to 0. Then we're gonna go to the canvas. This is what I prefer. It's just to optimize pixel perfect, and then from constant pixel size to scale with screen size. So even if you change anything, it's just still gonna be in the center. So then after that we're done with this. Then next we're gonna go back to the button. I don't really like a square button, so I'm just gonna change it to a circular. You can go and do this in the image. So basically we are already in the planning UI button if we click it. So if you check in the button, I already mentioned there's this component called button, and it's interactable and it's clicked, it's ticked. So in the interactable, what we can do is we can highlight the button. That means we hover over it, we can press it, and then we can select it, we can disable it. Then we got a lot of other stuff, and at the end we have the most important on click event. So this event is basically events will trigger something when it meets its criteria. So example, on click event, that means when we click it, then this event will be triggered. So we are first gonna make simple folder for scripts. Then now next we're gonna create folder for scene. Don't really have to do that, but doesn't really matter. So we're gonna go scripts. We're gonna create a C# script. We're gonna call it button because it's for the button. We're gonna open it up in Visual Studio. Okay, so when we open up Visual Studio, we get this basic thing, and we just want to delete that. Okay, so basic analogy. This thing is a big container. We cannot just tell things to do it here. We have to make a smaller container, so we call it void, and then we have to name it something else. So we can not name it, but we have to specify what void it is. So if we say update, that means it happens every frame. Or if we say start, it happens only once, and when it starts. So but now we are gonna use is update. So it's every frame this is gonna be executed. So void and then update parentheses, and this will automatically come up. So next, in C# is quite logical, and C# scripting is quite logical. So what we have to do is obviously to change this text. So when we click, the text has to change, like the 0 has to change by +1. So to change this text display, we have to first reference it. So to reference, we can call a variable. So we first have to say, is it public or is it private? So since we are referencing it, it has to be public. So public. And then what type of variable is this? So it's a text variable, so text. Then what is the name? So you can name anything you want. I'll just call it score. And then in C# we always have to end everything with a semicolon, except this containers. Containers do not need any semicolons, but other codes you need. So next, we obviously need to we want it to say something. So instead of just saying 1 by 1 plus 1 plus 1 plus 1, we can make another variable for this. So we can just call it private, because we do not need any other things to see it. We can just have it to ourselves. And then integer. So integer is a whole number, and then we can say value, and then semicolon. So now if you save this and then come here, oh yeah, and remember to put this button script inside the button, because I already told you, if it's in the asset folder, it is not implemented in the world. So if you see in the button script area, we have an empty slot saying none, bracket text, and close bracket. So we cannot drag anything, like even the button itself, other than a text object. See, we can add a text. So whenever we say score in this C# script, we always reference this text. Okay, now we got that covered. So next, we have to change this value. So we are going to make our own function for this. So we're going to name this, we have to make it public, and then we're going to call it on, wait, we have to say void, because we have to make it a container. And then next, on click, it will have many options, but just ignore it, and then put bracket and then curly brackets, and this will happen. So now you have your own function. So now you can store code inside here also. So we're gonna say value equals value plus 1 and semicolon. But if you run this code, nothing's gonna happen, because this function is over here, but it's not being called at all. Unlike update is called every frame, start is called the first time, and however on click, which is our own function, is not called at all. So to change that, we can use this on click event. So this is where we do on an extra one list. Now we're gonna drop this button script inside here, this slot, and then now this no function is enabled. So we click this, then we go to button, and we go and we can see our own function called on click. See, we on click, and then we just go and then just go to button again, and then on click. So we just click that. So whenever we click it, this will actually execute. So this function will execute. So to check that, we can use debug debug.log. So this, what it actually does, I'll just show you in a second. Value. So what this does is it will tell what the value is, in the console over here. And then if we start, it's gonna spam zeros. Look how many debug statements are there. It's just spamming zeros. However, if we click this once, now it changes to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. But how do we show this number on this text? So that's what we're gonna see next. So instead of this debug statement, what we are gonna do is we're gonna change the text. So score, which is this text, score, and then if we go inside here, and then that is the component called text. So inside this object we have a component called text. So we have to, if we want to access this component, we have to call it dot text. And then so this already opens up this places. We want to change this text. So score dot text equals to, just like how we did in the value, equals to score, no, equals to value. So we are saying that this value, no, we are saying that this score text equals to this value. But there's an error other than putting a semicolon. There's another error, and if you hover over it, it already says cannot convert type integer to string. So this is a string, however this value is an integer. So if you want to change it, it's very simple. We just do dot, and it already says here to string. Now we have to bracket over here, and that's it. We have already made the base mechanics. Now if we come and test it out, just remember we only can test it in the game tab. We cannot test it in the scene. If you click 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, nice. So in this episode of the Click game, we have finished the planning and the base mechanics. In the next episode, we will do a lot of finishing touches, such as making the background look way more better and having some extra effects. So stay tuned, subscribe, like, and that's it. Bye.